All right. Well, we are live for the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets. Mets are trying to stay in ahead in the wild card spot here. Hopefully, they're able to do so. But yeah, listen, we all know the Mets are in trouble. It's hard for them to even make the playoffs at this point, but they kind of need to. So the game's about to start. We got Tong on the mound today, going up against Padres. This is a must-win. Absolutely 100% must win here for the Mets. You can't lose this series at home, especially because you have the Cubs coming up, and then you have two teams that you never beat in, the Marlins and the Nationals, and they got to win this game. And we got to see if Tong can bounce back from his terrible start last time out, where he was only able to get 2 outs. So I might be a little bit behind the screen here. Tong's first pitch is taken low for a ball. That was Tong's problem last time out. He was unable to throw strikes. That was his issue, and he just couldn't get anyone out. And honestly, Tong is a guy who's probably wasn't ready yet. Pitch number 2 is a strike there. A generous call for Tong, but I'll take it. Hopefully he's just able to throw strikes today and get these guys out. And Tatis hits one to right. Soto goes back. He's got room in front of the track, makes the catch. 1 out. So Tong's already looking better than he did last start. Hopefully he's just able to, be decent enough. Give him 5 innings, 2 or 3 runs. I'd be happy with that out of Tong. Clearly Tong was rushed, but you know what? They needed something. They needed a spark. I can't blame them for bringing him up, but he clearly wasn't 100% ready, and you can't really blame a 22-year-old kid. First pitch to Arise, pretty much down the middle for a strike. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. His velocity looks a little down. Maybe he's just focusing on trying to overthrow here. But he's already looking better so far than his last start. And just as I say that, Arise hits a base hit to left field. But that's Arise. Arise is going to get base hits. Whatever. He's not a problem on the bases. He doesn't steal. But yeah, hopefully Tong can just keep throwing strikes and keep this game close enough. This is the type of game that I'm always nervous about, because for whatever reason, the Mets do not play well in day games during the week. Like, I've gone live for a couple of these, and they've been bad losses. I remember one to the White Sox. I think one to the Nationals. Like, they just don't perform well in these games. Final game of the series, trying to take the series. Day game just doesn't always work out. And we got Tong's first appearance against Machado here. Machado takes the first pitch for a strike. And there's a foul ball to the left. So 0-2. Tong has Machado 0-2 now. Hopefully, just get him out. I don't care about strikeouts. Just get some outs today. The bullpen shouldn't be that used up. They didn't use their top guys last night. And we saw today that Reed Garrett, has gone on the injured list once again. Maybe heading for Tommy John surgery, according to Carlos Mendoza. It's not ruled out. That's a big blow for the bullpen. I know he hasn't been great, but who do you really trust more than Garrett at this point? I don't know that there's too many guys in that bullpen that you would actually trust more than Garrett. 1-2 count on Machado. Tong throws to first, just to keep Arise close. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Tong to Machado. Runner on first. It's a fastball low and away. 2-2 count. See, when he threw 94, it seemed like he had control. That one was up to 96, and he didn't seem to have much control over where it was going. So I think for him, maybe he is overthrowing a little bit. He has to figure out his way. 22 years old. I really hated that he got booed after he came out in his last start. I mean, he was terrible, but you're going to boo a 22-year-old kid who clearly just wasn't ready. Machado flies one foul. It's going to go into the seats. So still 2-2 on Machado here. 1 out, runner at first. Tong is 10 pitches in. He has 1 out, runner on first. He just needs to get some outs here. We don't need him to look spectacular. But really, Tong is fighting for a possible playoff start. After seeing Peterson last night, can you really trust him in the playoffs? I don't think so. That one's outside. It's a 3-2 count now on Machado. Trying to get Machado to chase here. Probably not going to work. Machado takes his timeout. So it'll still be 3-2 after a little delay here. How about a double play? Double play would be nice right here. Tong could use a double play to get out of this inning clean. Oh. Alright, well, Machado hits one over Nimmo's head. Arise did not score on the play. Oh, and Machado is thrown out at second base. So, listen, not pretty there. He hit what should have been a double over his head. Machado ends up getting thrown out at second base. Arise stays at third. It seems like Machado thought that Arise was going to try to score on that play, and he didn't, so he got thrown out at second base. So, I don't know. Arise was moving on that pitch. He was heading towards second base and did not score on that would have been double. Well, good play. Hey, listen, you need lucky play sometimes. You get strike 1 here on Merrill. So 0-1 count here on Merrill. Mets lucked out there. They would have second and third with 1 out. And instead they have a runner at third with 2 outs. No run scored, so we're good there. Merrill pops one up. Torrens thinks he has a play, but he doesn't. It goes into the crowd, so 0-2 count on Merrill here. The Mets are going to need luck. You know, things have gone so badly for them. All the breaks have gone against them. And they've played like crap, too. Like, I'm not putting it all on luck. But they've played badly. And they've had bad luck. Now maybe their luck is starting to turn around. And they just have to play better. The 0-2 pitch to Merrill here. And it's a curveball in the dirt. Waste pitch there, trying to get him to chase. Merrill did not bite. That's the problem with Tong right now. Guys just sit on his fastball because he can't really throw his other pitches for strikes. And if he's not able to throw the other pitches for strikes, they could just sit on the fastball. And good hitters are going to be able to do that pretty easily. Oh. Fouled straight back into Torrens' mask. Torrens is a little slow to get up off that one, but he looks alright. Mets catchers are just getting torn up lately. Alvarez with the broken hands and the hit in the elbow. Torrens taking that hard pitch off the mask. I mean, it's been rough for Mets catchers this year. They're giving Torrens a little extra time here to get himself ready after getting smacked in the face with the ball. Tong needs an out here. He's up to 16 pitches now. There's another foul ball into the crowd, right side. You don't want him throwing 30 pitches in this inning. You need a little bit of length here. Even if it is only 5 innings. But it's still a 1-2 count here on Merrill. Tong. Ooh, Tong strikes him out. That was a pretty nice curveball. That was probably one of the best curveballs I've seen Tong throw this season. It wasn't a strike, but it was close enough with 2 strikes where the guy could not take it. So if he can get that going, if he can get ahead with the fastball and then use the changeup and the curveball to strike guys out and get them to chase, if he's just off the plate, then that could work for him. But he's not going to get anywhere if he's falling behind hitters. So this was a good inning. Listen, he gave up, 2 hits in the inning, but no runs, no walks. I'll take that as an inning for Tong after his last outing where he only got 2 outs. And what do you have? 5 walks in the inning, or 4 walks and a few hits? Like, it was a really bad day for Tong. Getting through this first inning, he's already done better than his last start. And this isn't me getting on Tong, by the way. I like Tong a lot, and I think he's going to be really good. I just think he's young, and he's not quite ready to dominate Major League hitters. Nolan McLean is a finished product. Even Brandon Sproat is probably a finished product. Jonah Tong is still raw. He's still very, think of, I hate to even compare him to these guys because we've had so many issues with them, but think of like Mauricio. Tong is more like Mauricio, where you see all the talent is there, but he's just really young, or he's just raw still. Mauricio's not that young, but still raw, and where Sproat is maybe more like Beatty, and McLean is really more like Vientos, where they're already established and they kind of are what they are at this point. They're still getting better, but they're kind of, what they're going to be. Tong, you don't really know yet. I mean, he's a 3rd-round pick. He's only 22 years old. He's developed a lot, but they're still developing to do. So now we go to the bottom of the first inning. Lindor leading off. Could use a nice fast start here. I would love to see a nice fast start for the Mets offense. Get a couple runs here in the first inning, put the pressure on. Because I don't expect Tong to shut this team out. They're going to have to score some runs today. First pitch to Lindor is a strike on the inside part of the plate. Fastball on the inside part of the plate at 95 miles an hour. They're going through Vasquez's numbers so far this year, 5-6 with a 3.72 ERA. 71 strikeouts to 49 walks, so he does walk some hitters. 1.35 whip, so he gives up base runners. This is a guy that was traded from the Yankees for Juan Soto, one of the pieces that went from the Yankees to the Padres in the Juan Soto trade before last season. Second pitch was a ball. Outside. 1-1 count on Lindor. And then Lindor fouls one back into the screen. 1-2 count on Lindor to start this bottom of the first inning. And Lindor's been kind of up and down lately. He seems like he was getting hot for a little bit, and then he's kind of cooled off. He hits a home run here and there. There's another foul ball, still 1-2 count. I'd just like to see Lindor be a little bit more consistent. It's what you have to deal with Lindor, because he's very hot and cold, but a little more consistency would go a long way. And there's a weak ground ball to first base, fielded by the first baseman. He takes it to the bag himself, and there is 1 out in the bottom of the first. And Soto will now come to the plate. And Soto had a pretty nice game last night. I know he grounded out in the 9th, but he almost tied the game there in the 7th or 8th, whatever inning that was. That was so close to being a home run. It was 5 inches foul. I thought it was his first big moment, his first real big moment. And he bunts at the first pitch. I hate when he does that, but okay. I just don't know how you're a premier player in the league and you bunt as much as he does, or at least bluffs the bunt. He's always looking to bunt. I get it. He's trying to get on base, but it's just don't love it. Second pitch, he fouls straight back. So 0-2 on Soto here in the bottom of the first, 1 out. Oh, 2 count on Soto here. And this pitch is a ball inside. Soto's very, he flails around a lot whenever a ball's Alright, I'm back. I had a little internet glitch there, I guess. I don't know what happened with Soto. It's grounded out softly to the catcher. Alright. So Soto grounds out. Now Pete Alonso is up. Takes the first pitch for a ball outside. Yeah, sorry about that. My internet glitched out or something. Everything went off for a second, but it came right back. So hopefully we have no more issues. Pete Alonso drives one deep to center, and that is gone. What is that, 4 games now for Pete Alonso? 4 games in a row with a Pete Alonso home run. And the Mets take a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. Sorry, my internet keeps crashing out. I don't know what's going on here. But Pete Alonso just hit a solo home run. I'm probably behind now on my stream. Yeah, another one to center field, and Pete Alonso is definitely on a hot streak right now. And this is important. If we can get Pete going right now, hopefully still making the playoffs. If we go in the playoffs with a hot Pete Alonso and Juan Soto maybe playing his best ball of the year, maybe we can get Lindor going. They could score a ton of runs. It's just going to be a matter if that pitching can hold up. And you figure you're going to have McClain make a start. Sproat, it's going to depend on kind of what he does going forward. You're going to have to see what Tong does the rest of the way. And, maybe I just can't see Peterson making a playoff start at this point. So one of these young guys is really going to have to step up. We're also going to have to see if Senga's able to come back and do anything. There's just so many question marks with the pitching. So getting Pete Alonso hot and starting to score runs is going to be huge. Nimmo fouls one back. It's a 1-2 count on Nimmo here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Pete Alonso has given the Mets the lead with a solo home run. Pete's been on fire the last few games. That's 4 straight games with a home run, I believe. And we always say when Lindor goes, the Mets go, but when the Mets were winning early in the season, the only guy that was really hitting was Alonso. As Nimmo strikes out to end the first inning. So the Mets go into the second inning with a 1-0 lead. Jonah Tong will be coming back out to start the second inning. And he will have Laureano, Sheets, and O'Hearn. So obviously a big inning here for Tong to try to keep the Padres off the board. When you score, you'll want to put up a 0 in the next inning just so that there's no, you don't want to lose momentum. You just scored a run. We need Tong to just not give up the momentum here. Man. My MLB app is all messed up right now. I don't even know if I'm live on the game right now. It's saying that my game's about to start. I'm going to have to restart this. Sorry, guys. Minor delay here. Alright, hopefully I'm back to the live feed. I guess it's not my internet. Maybe it's MLB.com that keeps messing up here. Let's try this again. Being very slow here. Alright, I think I'm good now. Alright, yep, we're back. Alright. Sorry about that. Yeah, I use the MLB app because I have like a subscription through my cable provider, but I don't have a cable box in the room that I'm in, so I'm watching it on a different device through the app, and it's so unreliable. I rarely watch cable, so the only reason I even have a cable subscription still is to get SNY and to get MSG. I don't really care about anything else. And there's pretty much apps for everything now as long as they work properly. 1-2 count here on Laureano. Tong up to 21 pitches here with no outs in the second. Hopefully he can get a quick inning here. And there's a called strike 3, and Laureano is out. Tong gets his first strikeout of the game. Oh, sorry, second strikeout of the game. I mean, Tong looks a lot better today. I know he gave the 2 hits in the first inning. He's gonna struggle sometimes against the better hitters because like I said, he doesn't necessarily have those great secondary pitches that he can throw for strikes all the time. He he can be hit. There's a curveball up, ball 1-1-0 here. And I think working with the major league pitching coaches, working with Jeremy Hefner maybe helps him. Maybe he can help develop a little bit more control. I don't know, but he's 22 and he's still got a long way to go and a lot to learn. 2-0 now on Sheets, and there's the first strike. Call fastball inside. See, when he keeps his velocity a little bit lower, 93, 94, he's able to easily throw strikes. When he starts getting up there to 96, 97, he's a little bit more wild. There's a ground ball right between Lindor and Beatty there for a seeing eye single. So runner on first, 1 out here. And those aren't, listen, those can come back to haunt you, those little base hits, but it's a ground ball at the end of the day. 26 pitches here for Tong with 1 out in the second inning. Let's see if he can get out of this here. Got O'Hearn up. First pitch, called a strike. Little inside, looks like, but got the call. Not complaining. The Padres have a strange lineup. They have some really good hitters in it, but there's also some guys that you should be able to get out. What is happening with my MLB? Sorry guys, it's messing up again. Well, 1-2 count on O'Hearn here. I think this is just going to be an issue for me all day with my MLB app here. It's just not cooperating. Let me see if I can get it on another device. Maybe it'll work better. This thing's not working. I don't know. I think it would. I go team, but I could definitely see them letting him walk as well. I think it might be a mistake, but I think the Mets might do it. Alright, seems to be working better on my phone, hopefully, so let's see. technical issues for me today. It's not really working on any other device, so hopefully this works. Is anyone else having issues? You think so? I just don't think they're going to spend on pitching. Maybe Gallen, just because he's been linked to the Mets so much in the past. I just don't see Stearns really spending money on all those pitchers. And Framber Valdez seems like he's probably a really bad teammate when he hit his own catcher. Woodruff, he's had some injury history, but he does have, he has some links with Stearns, obviously, from being in Milwaukee. Um, I think the Mets are going to rely on the young kids and hope that they kind of come through and become what they hope they are. And then, I don't know, you're still going to have Peterson, you're going to have Senga, you're going to have Manaya. You're going to have 6, 7, 8 guys that you already have signed and are basically guaranteeing a spot to. So, I don't know. I don't really see them adding much in starting pitching. I think you'll see more lower end guys who are just kind of minor league / major league players who could possibly be part of the rotation if you have injuries. Now, as I was talking, Vientos got a single to center field, and now McNeil has a 1-0 count. McNeil takes a high strike. Looks like maybe it was up, but got the call there, and it's 1-1 now on McNeil. Nobody out, runner on first. Mets just got to put some runs up here. Make this an easy game, please. That's all I'm asking. One easy game. You had an easy one the other night. Yeah, but they're under contract, so I don't know that they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna trust them, but I think that they're going to. You have them on your team, so like you're not just gonna sign a whole new group of guys, especially with you expect, you know, the 3 kids to already be there, and then you have those 3 guys. Yeah, I mean Senga has a tradable contract. Peterson, I don't know, are you really gonna get anything for him? And those guys aren't really making a ton of money. Like Senga, I think he's making under 20 million, and Peterson, I think, is still in arbitration, so he's not making that much money. It's just I don't expect Stearns to ever really spend big money on a starting pitcher. Maybe if you can get a young guy who has a lot of control, then I could see it happening. But I don't see it happening for just any pitcher. I don't think it's going to be a free agent. I think it would be a trade for a guy who's has a lot of control. Because they don't want to pay guys $30 million a year, you know. Zach Gallen. I think Zach Gallen possibly won't even be a free agent because I think he's probably going to take the qualifying offer because he's had a bad year. He's had a very up and down year. Framber Valdez, I mean, I don't know there's going to be much of a market for him just with all the recent stuff that's happened with him. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. I don't disagree that they need more high-end starting pitching, obviously, with what we've seen this year, but I just don't really see them going that route. I think it's actually going to be a pretty quiet offseason. I think they're going to look for a center fielder. I think they're comfortable with guys like Beatty and Vientos playing a lot at third base and second base. I think McNeil's a guy who could definitely be traded. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of, not that I agree with not going out there and getting a top end starting pitcher, but I like that his thing is he wants to develop that because it's very expensive to go out there and sign a guy who's 30 years old, 31 years old to be a top. You're paying them for what they already did, and most of the time they're going to regress or have injuries. And instead, let's just develop, McLean, Sproat, and Tong into top of the line guys. I still think maybe you need another big time guy, but I don't think Schoolbowl is getting traded, and I don't think Paul Skeens is getting traded. I just don't see that happening. If they were, like, if the Pirates said, we want to trade Paul Skeens, I think the Mets would be involved. Would they get him? I don't know. I don't know if the Stearns is going to give up the amount of prospects you would need because it's going to be a lot. I don't think Schoolbowl's going anywhere, so who are you really going out there to get? As Beatty strikes out there, there's now 2 outs, runner at first. We got Luis Torrens at the plate. Trent Grisham's interesting, honestly, because I think obviously he's a great defender and he's had a really good year with the bat this year, but it's kind of an outlier. Like he hasn't been this good of a player. He's always had power and always played great defense, but I don't know. It's kind of an outlier year. He's better than what they have. If he's the best available, yeah, I would give him a shot, depending on how many years and how much money he's wanting, because we don't want to get in a position where you're paying a ton of money for him, and someone's going to overpay for him off the year he's having. So, yes, I would be interested, but at what price? I don't know. If it's a 1 or 2 year. Torrens fouls one off, breaks his bat. Yeah, I think I'm like way behind. I gotta figure out this stream. All right, well, apparently Luis Torrens strikes out swinging here. Yep. And the inning is over. So the Mets strand a runner at first base. Now the Padres will send up Fermin, Tatis, and Arise. Yeah, I'm a few pitches behind here. I'm going to try to restart it and see if I get back on track. Yeah, they're in kill now, so I should be back on track now. But Mets strand a runner. They're going to need to start scoring some runs in this game. I don't see Tong not giving anything up. You're going to need more than 1 run in this game. It was interesting before the game we saw that Mendoza said that Garrett may need Tommy John surgery. They're not ruling that out. It's a big hit for the bullpen, not just this year, but if he needs that, he's out all of next year as well, and probably parts of 2027. If there is a season in 2027 with the lockout possibly coming, yeah, that would be a tough loss. He hasn't been great, but he still needs. You need those guys in the bullpen. Yeah, I mean, I think Harrison Bader's been great for the Phillies, and especially against the Mets. He's killed the Mets. But remember, this is a guy last year that lost playing time to Tyrone Taylor. Tyrone Taylor outplayed him last year. So I understand the Mets not bringing him back. I think maybe they thought they'd get more out of Jose Siri, and he was injured all year, and when he has played, he has not been good. Yeah, I mean, Harrison Bader's I think he's a good team guy. I think he's a guy that was probably like a glue guy last year. But he's kind of one of those guys who's easily replaceable. His bat, at least, is easily replaceable. Phil Maton, yeah, I liked him last year, but he broke down in the playoffs. He's a good regular season pitcher, but the problem with him in the playoffs is when every pitch is so intense, a guy who throws 89, 90 miles an hour isn't going to get big time outs in a playoff series. All right. First batter pops out to Jeff McNeil, and there is now 1 out. Tong's at 36 pitches here in the third inning. He's pitching pretty well. You know, he had a little bit of a rough patch in the first inning where he gave up 2 home runs and probably should have given up a run. There should have been runners at second and third with 1 out, and instead we had a runner at third with 2 outs. But overall, he's pitched pretty well. He's come through that pretty well. But now the order is turning over with Tatis Jr., and Tong's first pitch is a fastball up and in for a strike. A 1 count. And the second one is... Oh, it's foul. Okay. That was a long foul ball. I thought that was gone. That was a changeup up in the zone. A mistake pitch there that Tatis just missed for a home run. Or did he? He's saying it was fair, I think. It's possible that he thinks that was fair. Maybe it was. I think they're going to look at it. Looks like it'll be a crew chief review to see if it was fair or foul. It was called foul on the field. I don't know. It was a long foul ball. You got Tong standing there. Was it fair or foul? Nope, that's a foul ball. That's foul. Okay, we're going to be good there. You could see the ball in front of the foul pole. But Tong got away with one there. That was a changeup up in the zone that Tatis just missed. He was a little bit quick on the changeup there. Foul ball. Okay, it's official. Now there's been a little bit of a layoff here. Here's the third pitch to Tatis. Scalded up the middle for a single. Tatis Jr. will be on first base with 1 out. Right up the middle there. Hard hit ball by Tatis Jr. Tatis is just a funny player to me because he has so much talent. But his numbers aren't great. You would think he'd be a lot better. He's a great defender. He's got a lot of power. He just struggles sometimes. I don't know if it's a lack of caring. I'm not sure. But I don't love him as a player. And they throw over to first. The ball gets by Alonso, and Tatis goes to second on the pickoff, on the drop pickoff. So now Tatis is at second base with 1 out. Yeah, and it was just a bad throw by Tong right into the runner. Ball skipped away, and now Tatis is at second base. So those are the kind of things that you can't have happen when it's a 1-run lead, because this can easily spiral out of control with the top of the order here. Now you have Arise and Machado. You know, this is an important stretch here, and there's a wild pitch, and now Tatis is at third base. So not a great sequence here for the Mets and for Tong. He makes the bad throw to first, and then he throws a wild pitch on the very next pitch, and Tatis is at third base with 1 out. So a ground ball could score him, a fly ball can score him, and this game could be tied in an instant here. They bring the infield in, playing right on the edge of the grass, trying to cut down that run to home. And Arise hits a foul ball down the right field line, and it is 1-1. And this is a tough guy to strike out, so Arise is going to put the ball in play more likely than not. So you have to keep... It's going to be tough to keep this run from scoring here with Arise on the at the bat. But it's 1-1. Another ball basically in the dirt, a fastball in the dirt, and it is 2-1 now on Arise. you're not really going to get a rise to chase. Like, he just doesn't. You're going to have to throw him strikes. He wants to swing the bat, but he's only going to swing at good pitches. He doesn't walk much, but he doesn't strike out either. He's going to foul off your good pitches. He fouled off that one. It is now 2-2 on a rise. So yeah, Tong has been rolling the last couple of innings, but he's running into trouble now when you get to the better hitters in the lineup. You're facing the top of the order here, really good hitters, and this is where he kind of struggles. He doesn't have problems with the lower end guys. It's the high end batters. They're just sitting on that fastball and wasting everything else, or not swinging at it. So he's thrown a couple nice curveballs today though, and there's a ball in the dirt. See, when he starts throwing 96, 97, it's like he has no control. When he keeps it to 94, 95, he seems to be able to locate it for strikes. It's just he's overthrowing right now. But he has to, because he doesn't have much else. So he has to try to get guys to swing and miss on a 97. Three-two count here on a rise. And there's another foul ball. That's what a rise does to you. He just works your pitch count, and he makes you throw a strike where he wants it, and then he gets a base hit. It's what he does. You see this 279 career average with 2 strikes. And he hits one to left field, kind of deep, not that deep, but Nimmo has a noodle arm, so Tatis Jr. will go home easily and score the first run of the game for the Padres. It is 1-1. Our outfield arms kill us. When you have Nimmo and Mullins out there, especially, you have no outfield arms. I mean, Soto's got a good arm out and right, and but he makes dumb decisions with the ball sometimes. But when you have Nimmo and Mullins in left and center, you have no arms out there. And that's an issue, because that was not a fly ball that should have been easily scored on. I know that Tatis Jr. is a fast guy. He's got some speed and he's aggressive. But in that situation, a good throw would beat him. And you just have guys out there with noodle arms. And I think that's where Nimmo hurts the Mets. I hate to say it, because when he's done playing, he's going to have he's going to be high up on all the Mets record lists. He's going to end up as one of the best Mets offensive players the Mets have ever had, just because he's compiled numbers for a while. But he's kind of hurting them right now with his decline in outfield. He can't play center anymore. The reason the Mets are struggling in center field is because they gave a big contract to Nimmo, and he's not able to play center anymore. Now you're going to have maybe Benj or Carson Benj or Jet Williams there in the future. Yes, Jose Siri when he's in center field. That's why if Jose Siri could hit anything, if he could hit 200, I'd be happy with Jose Siri, because he's such a great defender, great arm, and he's got power. It's just he strikes out every at bat. He's got the speed, he's got the defense, he's got the power, he's got the arm. Like, he just doesn't do enough at bat, batting wise. He doesn't get enough hits. He doesn't drive in runs. I liked the Jose Siri deal. I thought he was going to have a big year. And then the injury happened. He wasn't very good before the injury, but then the injury happened, and it derailed his whole season. As they're looking at Machado here, who fouled one. Oh, it went off the dirt and then into his shin. That must hurt, but I think he'll be okay. It didn't go directly off the shin. It hit the dirt first. I think he's okay. And he'll probably... I don't even want to say it. I think it's possible that a guy like Arise ends up on the Mets next year. If Alonso walks, I could definitely see Arise maybe being signed to play first base. I hope not, because I'm not a big fan. But he is an annoying hitter. He's the type of guy who annoys the other team because you can't strike him out, and he makes contact. There's strike 2 to Machado, 1-2 count here. And he gets Machado on the upstairs fastball. That was about at his neck, and he swings at it, swings through it, and the Mets get out of the inning with just the 1 run scored. Tong strikes out Machado. That's a good sign to me. He's able to strike out one of the best hitters in baseball. And Tong, he's given up a run here, but what's he through? 3 innings now. And, he's only given up 1 run against a really good lineup. I'll take it. Let's just, Tong's really fighting at this point to try to be in the conversation for a playoff spot if the Mets are able to get in. If the Mets are able to get in, who's starting? At this point, McLean is kind of a shoo-in. He's probably game 1 starter. Sproat, Tong, because you can't trust Peterson. You can't trust Senga if he even comes back. You can't trust anyone else in the rotation. So you're going to say, Tong, Sproat. These guys are fighting to be playoff starting pitchers or even be on the playoff roster. Yeah, I definitely think McLean is a shoo-in, and I think Sproat, as long as he's fine in his last couple of starts this year, is a shoo-in. But Tong, I think he has to still prove it, just because he's still. I think maybe for him even they would look at like piggybacking him with someone and having him do like a couple innings out of the bullpen. I could see that with Tong more than anything. I mean, I find it intriguing that the Manaea Clay Holmes piggyback thing as a playoff start. I think that wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. You have Manaea coming at you with that lefty arm angle, and then have Clay Holmes, who's used to coming out of the bullpen for almost his whole career, come in and give you a few innings, maybe 2 or 3 innings before going to your better relievers. I could definitely see that working out, but we have to get there first. And you got to see what these guys. It's going to be whoever's pitching the best at the time. And right now, Peterson, who we thought was a shoo-in, is not. Maybe Clay Holmes and Manaea together. Senga, if he even gets right, he's pitching for AAA tonight. Maybe he gets right and he gives you something. I don't see him as a relief option though. So if he comes back up. And Mullins gets a base hit. Mullins has been hitting a little bit better lately. He had a home run. He's been hitting the ball harder. I don't love Mullins, but if he's able to give you anything offensively out of your 9 spot, or your 8-9 spot, you can't complain about that. I hated the trade. I'm not a Mullins guy, but if he could do anything, if he could give you anything, you can definitely... he's going to deepen the lineup, especially out of the 9 spot. If he could just get some base hits. And he's been able to steal bases. When he gets on base for the Mets, he's been stealing bases. So he's definitely not as good defensively as Tyrone Taylor or Jose Siri, but he probably has a better bat than either of them when he's right. He just hasn't been right. It's now 0-1 on Lindor as he swings through a fastball. I swear, Lindor always bothers me in these day games. It's like he's not ready to compete. It's very strange. And the Mets always go quiet offensively in these day games, last game of a series. But hopefully, after the comments by Soto last night, where he said, we gotta do well today. We have to do it today because right now there is no tomorrow. Hopefully, they can get off their ass and just start playing better, more consistent at least. They have days where they look like they're gonna beat everyone. Yeah, I hope so. I hope I reverse jinx Lindor. Oh, but he gets a base hit. And did Mullins go to third? Yep, Mullins is at third base. Oh, Lindor tries to go to second, and he is called safe at second base. I think they'll review that, but if he is safe, the Mets have runners at second and third with nobody out, and Soto coming up. I'd like a big hit by Soto here. Don't need a home run. Base hit, scores 2 runs. And you got a 3-1 lead. After giving up the lead in the last inning, you get the momentum back on your side. We need a big at-bat here from Soto. He needs to kind of do what we all need him to do. Yeah, he looks safe on that. Lindor did the right thing there. He waited to see if they were going to try to throw the runner out at third. Once they did, he took off for second. And now we have Soto. And Lindor's definitely signaling to Soto there. He gave him something there. And the Mets have done that a lot this year. I don't know if everyone has noticed that, but they're definitely signaling each other when they have a runner on second base. And it might even be a decoy. It might even be to upset the pitcher or whatever. They're signaling to the guys at first base. I remember when they played the Phillies and Kerkering was pitching, and I forget who was at the plate, but Pete Alonso was at second base, and he was gesturing. He was definitely gesturing to the batter, what pitch was coming, or the location of the pitch at least. And it looked like Lindor was doing that right there for Soto. Now they're at the mound now, having a little mound visit, 1-0. They're trying to keep Vasquez from falling apart here with the middle of the Mets lineup. And it's tough. Listen, the Mets top to middle of their lineup is tough for pitchers. That's what we forget sometimes. Like, we look at other teams and, oh, you have, Tatis Jr. and Arise and Machado, but Mets have a better top of their lineup than anyone. They just haven't hit. They just haven't done enough. And they've hit. Like, their numbers are all fine, but they haven't had that consistency all season long. Teams are scared of the Mets lineup. They have to be. When you have Lindor to Soto to Alonso, that's a big top 3 right there. It's just that Vientos hasn't been consistent enough, and Beatty hasn't been consistent enough, Nimmo hasn't been consistent enough. 1-1 count to Soto here. Runners at second and third, nobody out. At the very minimum right now, Soto has to get a run in. He has to at least hit a fly ball and get the run in. No strikeouts here. And he grounds weakly to second base. It will get the run in. Soto is out at first. Mullins scores, I believe. Yep, Lindor went to third. So the Mets take the lead back 2-1. Soto grounds out. He does get the run in. Would have liked more there, but they took the lead back. Now you have Pete Alonso coming up with 1 out and Lindor at third base. At the very least here, Pete also needs to get that run in from third. Runner at third base, less than 2 outs, you have to get the runner in. At the very least. But Pete's been swinging a hot bat, so we'll see what happens here. Oh yeah, 100th RBI. Good call out there. I'm sorry, I'm not listening with sound, but I didn't even realize. But yeah, 100th RBI. Congrats, Soto. And imagine this, even on a down year, where we all consider him having a down year early in the season, not lately, but early in the season, and he's got 41 home runs and 100 RBIs. And a 400 on base and a 900 OPS. So imagine what we'll see if he does this all season long going forward. And people always said, they said he was never going to hit as many home runs as last year, hitting in front of Aaron Judge. And I always thought that was crazy because the guy's 26 years old and he's getting better. We haven't even seen his prime yet. We haven't seen the best of Juan Soto. And he's already this great. So, I think better days are to come with Soto. Between 28 and 32 is generally your prime. Pete grounds one foul, and it is now 2-2 on Pete Alonso. 1 out, bottom of the third. Mets have a 2-1 lead. Runner on third base. This run needs to come in. You got to take these runs when you can get them against a team like the Padres, who can score a lot of runs and quickly. Two on Alonso here. All right. And that's a ball way outside. Tried to get Alonso to chase, but it was about 18 inches outside, so it did not work. And when Alonso is right, he lays off those pitches. When he's going bad, he swings at those pitches. So he is right now. 3-2 pitch to Alonso, inside, and it's ball four. Alonso takes a walk. Now there's runners at first and third with one out here. And it looks like they're going to make a pitching change. Yep. All right, well, pitching change, I don't know if this is normal for their pitcher. I honestly don't know. I see we have a Padres fan here. You can let me know if this is normal for this pitcher to come out this early. I think he's at like 50 pitches. I know he's struggling, but he's only given up 2 runs here. I don't know, with that offense, you could definitely, maybe you haven't, but I think you could score a lot of runs. You just haven't. And it seems like when you guys play the Dodgers, you put up a lot of runs. Oh, okay. So normally he goes longer than this. I know he's a guy who's been kind of up and down the last couple of years from the minors. I wasn't sure if he was more of a, a 3 or 4 inning pitcher. I know some guys are like that now. The Mets have a couple guys like that. I mean, honestly, I see there's a Padres fan here. The Padres are a team that I fear, honestly, more than the Dodgers. Like, I know the Dodgers are the Dodgers, right? And the Phillies have been great this year. But the Padres have so much potential, especially because of that bullpen. The bullpen is great, and on paper they have a great starting rotation, and on paper they have a great offense. And I know when like the moment is big, they seem to do well over the last couple of years. So the Padres are definitely a team that I don't like to see. And maybe that's a 2020, whatever it was, 2023 or 2022, whenever they played the Padres in that wild card series, and they just could do nothing against the Padres. Maybe I'm going back to that, but the Padres are always a team that I don't like playing. It's always a team that I might struggle against. Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Other than the starting rotation and some of the bullpen, the Mets have the same problem all year long. You're waiting for that offense to click consistently all season long, and it just doesn't happen. And I think there's kind of the same issues there. But the Padres go for it. That's the good thing about the Padres. Every single year, at least the last few years, they go for it. If there's someone they can go get at the trade deadline, they do it. Getting Mason Miller, even Laureano. I don't know if I know he started off well with the Padres, and he's a Met killer, especially from when he was with the Braves and all that. But I really think I don't like facing the Padres. Got Wandy Peralta in against Brandon Nimmo, lefty on lefty. Nimmo fouls the first, or I guess the second pitch off. I missed the first pitch. 0-2 count to Nimmo here. Need to drive this run in from third. These are the runs you cannot leave on the table. Just a fly ball here, Nimmo. You don't got to do too much. Drive the run in. That ball's in the dirt. The runners do not advance. And it is 1-2 now to Nimmo. Come on, Nimmo. Just a fly ball. That's all we need. Fly ball here. And he gets the fly ball, and it's deep to right. Gone. Home run, Brandon Nimmo. That is the cushion Now, it's not over, but that's the cushion that the Mets needed in this inning. They needed to take the momentum back after giving up the tying run in the top of the inning. This was the answer that was needed. Thank you, Nimmo. I'm not going to relax. This game is not over. it's but this is a good start. I'm not going to take all the bad words I said back about Nimmo. I like Nimmo. Don't get me wrong. Uh, Nimmo is a Met. He was drafted by the Mets. He came up through the Mets. But you got to look at it honestly here. He's a different player than he was a few years ago. And you can't say his defense doesn't kill the Mets sometimes, especially with his arm. Now you got an 0-2 count on Vientos. I mean, that's just nice, nice hitting by Nimmo. Lefty on lefty too. And this is an important game. Mets have to take it. The Mets need this game more than the Padres do. The Padres are 5 games up of with the number 2 spot in the wild card. The Mets are trying to hold off 3 different teams. The Diamondbacks are only a game and a half. The Reds and Giants are only 2. The Mets need to play every game going forward as if it's a playoff game, because if they don't, if they continue to lose games, they're not going to be in the playoffs. Then this is their playoffs. So this definitely means more to the Mets than it does for the Padres, but I don't expect the Padres to roll over. They're not going to do that. Especially there's been some tension too. You know, the Alvarez hit by pitch, and then last night Elias Diaz getting hit by a pitch. Was it intentional? I don't know. You know, Dom Hamill comes into the game, and then he gets DFA'd today. Maybe it was, hey, if you hit him and start a fight, you're going to get DFA'd anyway, so go out there and hit him. I don't know. As Vientos strikes out there. So now there's 2 outs in the inning. And no matter what happens, the Mets took the momentum back, and that was the most important thing. Now the most important thing is Tong to go out there and put up a 0 in the next inning. And then you can start thinking of, okay, maybe we could take a breath here. They need to put up a 0. Tong needs to put up a 0. One 0 to McNeil. First pitch was outside. Second pitch is low. McNeil swings at it. It is 1-1. Next pitch is low and in. 2-1 count on Nimmo. And there's a long way to go in this game. 5-1, the game's not over. Especially with the way the Mets have been pitching, but you have to feel good. You know, with a 4-run lead, you have to feel okay about the game, but we know as Met fans, this game is far from over. McNeil swings at the next one, and it is a strike. 3-2 count on Nimmo here. In the bottom of the third, Mets lead 5-1, 2 outs, nobody on. Nimmo with a big 3-run home run in this inning. Well, that's good. I honestly, I don't follow the Padres super close. Um, the Mets are in a lot of the same boat. The Mets have not won a game in which they've trailed in the 8th inning this year. I think it's trailed by 2 or more runs in the 8th inning. They haven't won a game this year, which is a crazy stat. Um, so it seems like maybe both teams have a problem with coming from behind. And the Mets have had to play from behind so much this year because their starting pitching has struggled after June. I mean, I like the way the Mets, as McNeil walks on the 3-2 pitch, now runner at first, 2 outs. I think last night, I know the Mets lost last night, but the Mets fought. And it's one of the few times this year where I actually felt like they were fighting from behind, and they were able to make it a little bit closer. Obviously, they fell short, but they haven't been doing that all year. It's like once they go down 2 or 3 runs, you just figure the game's over. And last night they seemed to be fighting, and I think they're really taking the mindset of like we have to win every day. We have to. Beatty lays off the first pitch, but they say he went around, so it is 0-1 on Beatty to start this at bat. And Beatty's starting to come together. Like, I know we had a lot of issues with Beatty as Met fans all season long. This dude is having a pretty good season. Like, is he a superstar? No, but he's turned into a pretty good major league player. And I think at this point, like, he's the starting third baseman going forward. I think Vientos, they think of more of a DH, maybe every once in a while at third, have Beatty play second on those days, but Beatty's been pretty good so far. As he pops this one up behind second base, and that will end the inning. So the Mets score 4 runs in the inning, the big 3-run home run from Brandon Nimmo, and they take the 5-1 lead. And we go to the 4th inning. I know, I thought that was gone. That was supposed to be Soto's first huge moment with the Mets, because he's had some big moments. He's hit a grand slam, he's gotten a few big hits, but Soto has not had that, like, quintessential game-tying or, game-changing home run necessarily. He's hit a lot of his home runs when they've been behind by a lot or ahead by a lot. He's had some big, don't get me wrong, he's had some big hits and some big home runs. This isn't like criticizing, it's just he hasn't had that signature moment yet. And I thought last night that was going to be it when it was about 5 inches foul. It hit the camera that was connected to the foul pole, so that was about as close as you could get. So how are we feeling about this game? We feeling comfortable or are we not? Guys, if you're here, please like the stream just to try to get it pushed out to more people. And if you're not following and you like my stuff, follow me. Or subscribe, sorry. Even if you're a Padre fan, you can still just subscribe. It doesn't hurt you. Helps me. Yeah, but you don't even have to watch. You could just subscribe and then you never have to watch. And I saw you just did, so thank you. Yeah, I hope Tong can continue to pitch well. We just need to zero this inning to keep that momentum. First pitch is high, 1-0. That was only a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. He likes to change his speeds a lot. I think because he can really only get that pitch over for a strike most of the time, he changes speeds a lot with his fastball. So you'll see him throw 92. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate you. He changes speeds a lot on that fastball. Kind of works almost as a changeup when he throws it 92 as opposed to 97. He's behind 2-1 now on Merrill. And that's a hard hit ball to right. Oh, Soto barely has to move. It kind of almost went over his head, but it was hit hard right at Soto, and that is out number 1. Tong's at 54 pitches now with 1 out here in the 4th inning. If he can get through 5, maybe 6, that's a successful start. As long as he doesn't give up the lead, we are good. And I don't want anyone to misunderstand this. I'm I'm a Jonah Tong fan. I just worry that he was called up too early and he wasn't quite ready. But he's looking good against a good lineup like the Padres right now, so I could be wrong there too. Maybe last start was more of a fluke. Second pitch is fouled off. It is now 1-1 on Laureano. Laureano fouls the next pitch back. It is still 1-2. That one was 94 miles an hour. He just likes to change speeds a lot. I mean, the guy's got, they're showing the stats right now. He's got almost 14 strikeouts per 9 innings through the minor leagues. That's pretty crazy. Like, for a starting pitcher, you generally don't see those types of numbers. Those are like reliever type numbers. And that's a high fastball for a strike. Strike 3. Swinging strike by Laureano. And there's now 2 outs in the inning. And Tong looks like maybe he's starting to roll right now. Hopefully. Putting up a 0 here is a giant deal. A huge deal. He's showing something today against a playoff type team. If he's able to get through 5 or 6 innings, giving up 1 or 2 runs, he's showing you something. There's strike 1 on Sheets. The box disappeared, but up and in fastball. Second pitch is inside. Another fastball inside. That one was a little bit further in. Sheets has to back away from it and is 1-1. Yeah, I hope so. I hope we have a real, we kind of lost, and you had and there's a curveball, nice curveball for a strike, 1-2. We kind of lost it with DeGrom and Matt Harvey and Syndergaard and Matz and Wheeler. Obviously, we know what happened there. Hopefully, these 3 guys are ones that stick around and can be top of the rotation kind of guys. There's a foul ball into the dirt, it looked like, on a curveball. I missed it, but I thought it was a foul ball in the dirt. One-two pitch. Sheets strikes out, swings through the fastball, and that is the end of the inning. Jonah Tong is putting in a very nice performance here. Cannot complain about anything he's done today. Even when he's gotten into trouble, he's been able to limit the damage and only given up the 1 run. Jonah Tong is looking like a different guy than in his last start. Seems like maybe that was the fluke. So, yes, I think at this point, if he continues to pitch like this, he's absolutely getting a playoff start if they make the playoffs. Like, you have to keep saying that. But yeah, really impressive so far from Tong. Put a 0 up on the board, and I'd love to see the Mets go out and score a couple more runs here. Make it an easy game. Make it a game where you could breathe. Score 3 or 4 runs right now. Make it 8-1, 9-1, and maybe we can start to relax a little bit and not have to worry so much. Because right now, a 4-run lead is not safe. It was also nice to see Helsley last night actually come in and get a 1-2-3 inning. He did give up a couple of hard hit balls, but he was able to get out and not give up any runs, which was nice to see. If you can get Helsley going at all, you could definitely see a resurgence of the bullpen. If you have Helsley in the 8th, and Diaz in the ninth, and then you could put in Brooks Raley as your lefty. Soto's been up and down. Um, you know, Taylor, Tyler Rogers, obviously factors in there, but they could be a strong back end of the pen if they can get Helsley going. And last night maybe gave him a little bit of confidence, hopefully. And I think that's all he needs right now. He needs some confidence going forward. First pitch to Torrens with Peralta still in the game is 1-0. Bottom of the fourth, Mets up 5-1, no outs. Torrens grounds one to shortstop. They throw over to first, and it is out. He's out. He's out of first base, so one out here in the fourth. Christian Scott, Jonah Tong, Brandon Sproat, Nolan McLean, Joe Ryan. I would love Joe Ryan. Love that name for the Mets. It doesn't seem like he was very happy in Minnesota right after the trade deadline. I think he asked to be traded, and he wasn't. Christian Scott, we'll have to see how he comes back from his surgery. But yeah, hopefully he should definitely be in discussion. I mean, the Mets right now, going into next year, have a ton of guys under contract starting pitching wise. Now, besides McLean and Sproat and Tong, are you excited by any of them? Probably not. You're wondering, hopefully Christian Scott is going to be fine. But yeah, I think adding a Joe Ryan to that rotation is huge. But you also have to remember you got guys like, Senga, Peterson, McGill. I don't know what happens with him. They're going to have a lot of decisions to make starting-wise. Now, you can never have enough starting pitching, but you're not going to have 7, 8, 9 guys with, multiple guys who are major leaguers sitting in the minor leagues. So, yeah, maybe there's some trades that need to happen. Could you make a trade? Could you trade a Peterson or Senga? Would anyone take those guys? Maybe. But you might end up stuck with those guys, too. Senga, I believe, is the last year of his deal next year. And as Mullins grounds to second base and he's thrown out, so now there's 2 down, nobody on here in the fourth for the Mets. I could definitely, Joe Ryan would be amazing. What you'd have to give up to get him, I don't know. Are they going to ask for Carson Benj, Jet Williams? Are they going to ask for those guys? Are they going to ask for one of these young pitchers? Are they going to ask for Sproat or Tong or McLean? I don't think the Mets do that. And that might be something that they want. So maybe that doesn't really work. Well, Manaea's under contract. Manaea's making a lot of money. Nobody's going to take his contract. The Mets are going to do everything they can to make him right. Peterson, yeah, sure, you can just get rid of him. He's just arbitration. Senga, he's got 1 more year on his contract, so yeah, you can just get rid of him. But Manaea is going to be on the team. Manaea will be there in some capacity. Clay Holmes, does he move back to the bullpen? Maybe. As Lindor flies deep to left field, and it is caught just shy of the warning track by Laureano, and that ends the inning. So the Mets do not score anymore there in the fourth. They will go to the fifth, leading the Padres 5-1. So yeah, I could definitely see Senga, Peterson, McGill, those kind of guys gone. Manaea will be around. Yeah, but I don't think the Twins would make that trade. They wouldn't want McGill or Senga or Peterson for Ryan. They'd want either prospects, big time young prospects like a Jet Williams or Carson Benj, or one of these 3 pitchers or other pitchers in the minor leagues. They're going to want guys they can control. If you trade Peterson, you're going to get a bag of balls. If you trade McGill, you're going to get less than a bag of balls. If you trade Senga, maybe someone will give you something for Senga because he has potential. But the other guys, you're not going to get anything for. You might get a minor league reliever, a 19-year-old minor league reliever for those guys. So we will go to the top of the fifth here with Tong still pitching. don't know how many pitches. 63 pitches so far for Tong here, starting the fifth. He could easily get through the fifth, maybe go six even. His pitch count is low enough, so hopefully he's able to do that. But I don't think they're going to push him either, especially coming off of his last start. They want him to have a positive feeling. If he runs into any trouble, I think they'll let him go this inning. But if he comes out for the sixth and he runs into any trouble, I think they'll probably can him for the day. Just because you want him to feel good. You don't want him to have a great start and then come out of it with a bad feeling. So here it is. Tong first pitch to O'Hearn. And it is a fastball up in the zone for a strike. 0-1 count from Tong to O'Hearn here. Pitch number 2. Another fastball up that is fouled straight back by O'Hearn. And it is an 0-2 count here. O'Hearn's a nice player. I don't think he's played very well since being traded to the Padres, but O'Hearn's a nice player. There's another foul ball by O'Hearn, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Still an 0-2 count here to start the fifth inning. I mean, if he gets out of this inning with less than 80 pitches, I think he goes out for the sixth. If it's more than 80, he's probably done. There's another foul ball here. It's still an 0-2 count. They have Kyle Hart. Padres have Kyle Hart warming up in the bullpen. I believe he pitched in game 1 of this series, if I'm not mistaken. Mets hit him, I think, a little bit too. Here's the pitch. Another foul ball by O'Hearn. Inside outed that one. That one was a pitch that was probably 6 inches inside. He hit it foul to the left. So he's making him work here a little bit. He's thrown 5 pitches to him so far. And that one was way upstairs, and it's ball 1. So it is a 1-2 count now from Tong to O'Hearn. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a thing for Tong. I think he could be a star. I don't know that it will be because he's Canadian. Oh, and there's strike 3. Fastball pretty much right down the middle, 95. Nice strikeout there for Tong. I don't think it's going to be that because I don't know, he's maybe for Canadian. Here's pitch number 1 to Cronenworth, and his ball 1 outside. I mean, Tong's throwing exclusively fastballs in this inning so far. And he has 7 strikeouts on the day through 4 1/3, so nice day here for Tong. And as a called strike on a changeup, it was maybe an inch or 2 inside, but he's got the call there. Yeah, I also think because he's like from Canada, it's not like if he was from China or Japan, I'm not sure. Then it would be different, but I think because he's Canadian. 2-1 count on Cronenworth, and he fouls the pitch back on another fastball. Yeah, I think he's thrown. Oh, he threw 2 changeups. Okay, but everything else has been a fastball in this inning. In the first 11 pitches. He's got to get out of this inning quick because I know they got kind of a short leash on these young guys. They took Nolan McLean out with, I think he had like 73 pitches or something. 73 or 76 pitches, so I think he's got to get out of this. And then it's another strikeout on a fastball pretty much right down the middle. He's just throwing the ball down the middle right now, and the Padres cannot touch it. And he's not throwing extremely hard. And that was 96. And that's his 8th strikeout of the game, so Tong is dealing right now. ran into a little trouble, and he's come through it, and now he's just rolling along. Hopefully he can continue. And he hasn't walked anyone today, right? I don't think so. First pitch to Fermin is a ball. 1-0 is the count. Tong is dealing today. Here's pitch number 2. And it is low and away, 2-0. Thank you. 2-0 count on Fermin. And that's a called strike. Looked like maybe it was outside, but he got the call. 2-1 count. Ooh, he swung right through that fastball. It was pretty much in the same spot as the pitch before, maybe an inch or two outside, but he swung at that one. Swung straight through it. Now a 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the 5th. Tong is looking for his 9th strikeout of this game. And it's fouled off to the right side. Yeah, he's just challenging these guys. He's just throwing fastballs and saying hit it. And they're not really able to do it. They're fouling it off or striking out. Could see maybe a changeup here, maybe a curveball. Try to keep him off balance a little bit. And it's a curveball, and he just gets a piece and fouls it off. That was a ball, but it was close. See, Tong needs to work in that area. If he's not able to throw consistently those curveballs and changeups for strikes, he needs to at least keep them close. With 2 strikes, you have to get ahead with the fastball and keep him off balance with your curveball once you have 2 strikes, and that's what he's been able to do today. He's still got his strikeouts on fastballs, but he's getting ahead of hitters so he can use his curveball more effectively. He's at 81 pitches now, with 2 outs here in the 5th. If he can get through this in the next couple of pitches, maybe he comes out for the 6th. I'm not sure. Ooh, and that's a curveball. Kind of hung it, but Fermin missed it. Hit it deep to center, but it's caught by Cedric Mullins, and the inning is over. Really nice performance so far from Jonah Tong. I don't know if he's going to be done for the day at 82 pitches that he just threw. If he is, great job. I would not be upset if they brought him back out for the 6th. I hope they do. I'd like to see him go deep into the game. Let him at least start the 6th, and if he runs into any trouble, then you take him out. But really good performance so far by Jonah Tong. They needed it. This is a game that obviously they have to win. And getting a good performance from a 22-year-old starting pitcher is a great start. Good starting pitching and timely hitting is what wins baseball games, and that's what they've gotten so far today. You feel much better if you get 6 innings out of your starting pitchers. You can go to your better reliever options, especially because they're all rested. Your better guys haven't pitched in 3 days. They didn't need anyone in that piggyback Manaea and Clay Holmes start, and they didn't need anyone because they had a day off before that. So these guys their main guys haven't pitched in a few days, so they're all rested. So if you can get 6 innings out of Tong here, you're in great shape for this game. You can use anyone you want out of that bullpen. But they'll probably piss me off and put Stanek in or something for a 3rd consecutive day. Because Mendoza loves some Stanek. I'm curious if you guys thought last night when they brought in Hamill, if you thought that they were punting that game. I want to know if you thought they were punting the game, or maybe they were trying to start a little... They said go out there and hit someone as retaliation for Alvarez. I'm kind of interested to know what you guys think. Because it seemed to me like once they brought in Hamill, it was a punt. And they've done that a lot this year. They just give up the game when they get down by... It was only a 3-run game. All right. We are starting the bottom of the 5th here with Juan Soto coming to the plate. Soto, Alonso, Nimmo. Soto fouls the first pitch off to the left. 0-1 count. Pitch number 2 is down and in. So we got a 1-1 count here on Juan Soto. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Mets lead 5-1, nobody out. Hart pitching for San Diego. As it was pointed out, Soto got his 100th RBI, and he hits one deep to right field. And it's going to get down right in front of the wall, and it will be a double for Juan Soto. I thought that one had a chance to get out. Ended up hitting on the warning track, bouncing off the wall. Soto gets himself a leadoff double here for the Mets. I would love to see a couple more runs here. Alonso's been hot. Maybe hit another home run here. Make it 7-1. Make us all feel a little bit more comfortable about this game. Because at 4 runs, not comfortable yet. If you make it 6, 7 runs, I'll start to... That's enough breathing room to feel okay. But Soto's been on some kind of hot streak. Alonso's been on a hot streak the last few days. This team can really get rolling if these guys really start to hit. We've been saying that all year, though. Now, Alonso comes to the plate. First pitch is pretty much down the middle for a strike. Alonso took that one. He has 8 hits in his last 18 at-bats and a home run in 4 straight games, including today. So he's already hit in the 4th consecutive game. Pitch number 2 is outside, 1-1 count. Base hit here would be nice, maybe score the run. Pete Alonso fouls off the pitch to the right side. It is now 1-2 on Alonso. Showing the graphic right now. Diamondbacks are a game and a half behind. I think the Diamondbacks are off tonight. I think the Diamondbacks and Giants are both off, and the Reds play... I forget who the Reds play. Here's the pitch to Alonso. It is inside. 2-2 count now. Oh no, the Giants play the Dodgers. I think it's a 4-game series. They start with the Dodgers. And the Reds and Diamondbacks are both off. Oh no, the Reds play the Cubs, sorry. So the Reds play the Cubs, and the Giants play the Dodgers. So, if the Dodgers are the Dodgers, then they should beat up on the... Tyler Rogers is warming up, so Tong might actually be done. They have Rogers warming up in the bullpen. Generally, they like to get him in to start a clean inning. So it might be that Tong is done after 5 and 83 pitches. 82 or 83 pitches. And Mendoza talked about that. He talked about that with McClain when he came out at, what was it, 76 or 78 pitches, something like that. Mendoza was asked, and he said, we had a pitch number in mind, and we weren't going to let him go out there for another, 3 to 5 pitches. It wouldn't have made sense. So we just took him out of the game at that point. They don't want these guys throwing too many innings, I guess. Looks like Alonso's having a little bit of a disagreement with the umpire here. Not sure what it's all about. Umpire was cleaning off the plate and had some words for Alonso. Soto leads off of second base. He's clearly trying to get the pitcher off of his game here. Alonso's got the 2-2 count, and he strikes out on a pitch low and inside. Strike 3, 1 out now. Soto still at second base. I mean, it wasn't a strike, but it was close. Looking at the schedule, I mean, Arizona has a tough schedule coming up. They have 3 against Philly, 3 against the Dodgers, and 3 against San Diego. That's kind of a crazy schedule. The Reds have a pretty easy. I know they played like Pittsburgh coming up. Yeah, that's kind of a brutal schedule there for the Diamondbacks. Now, are the Phillies going to be resting guys because they already clinched the division? Maybe, but I think they still have to fight for that second seed with the Dodgers, so maybe they'll still be playing hard. I'm not sure. One count now to Nimmo as he takes a ball a few inches outside. One count. And Nimmo takes another one inside, had to back up so it didn't hit him in the knee. So 2-1 count now on Nimmo. Runner on second. Soto's on second base still with 1 out. Mets lead 5-1. Another one low. It is now 3-1 to Nimmo. Catcher is telling the pitcher to calm down. Take a walk here if you're Nimmo. I don't know if Tong's out. The way that he's, I'm not listening to what they're saying, but usually when a pitcher's out of the game, they're up on the top step right now. He's still sitting with nobody around him, so maybe he starts the inning. I don't know, but with Rogers warming up, generally they like to get him a clean inning, so they don't want him coming with runners on, because he does give up so much contact. Juan Soto is clearly trying to get the pitcher off of his game from second base, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't talk about with Soto, is like his gamesmanship. He's always playing games, and in a good way. I'm not saying like he's whatever, he's playing too much. He's always trying to get the pitcher off their game. He's always talking to the catcher as Nimmo walks on a ball outside. So now there's runners at first and second, 1 out here. Mets lead 5-1 in the 5th, and that's something that I like about Soto. He's always playing games with people and trying to get in their head. The pitcher, the catcher, he's always doing that kind of stuff, and I think it's kind of an underrated part of his game. He doesn't shuffle like he used to as much. I think we'll probably see that come playoff time, and he's also talked about how with the pitch clock it's harder to do it, and you have to kind of pick your spots. He's done it a couple times this year, but I like that part of his game. The pitching coach is out for a visit to the pitcher, trying to keep him from imploding here with runners at first and second. Vientos is coming up. Vientos had his little hot streak, but he's kind of gone cold again. I think with the problem this year with the Mets offense, a lot of it has to do with Vientos. He hasn't been the guy that he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be that middle of the order, maybe a big time 30+ home run guy, and he just hasn't been that. And I think that's what's hurt their offense from being consistent, is not having that extra power bat in Vientos or Beatty, one of them. Here's the first pitch to Vientos. He swings through an 86-mile-an-hour sweeper, changeup, not sure what it was. They're using up all the pitch clock of this guy. Here's the second pitch to Vientos. And it's outside. 1-1 count now on Vientos. He tried to go with basically that same pitch again, made it a little bit more outside, and Vientos did not offer at it, so 1-1 count. And this guy's thrown 16 pitches in this inning. He's only gotten one out. Vientos swings through another one, low and away. It was in the strike zone right on the corner. It was a nice pitch. It was a strike. Now here's the pitch to Vientos. Oh, nope. They try to pick off Soto at second. He gets back just in time. And Soto's definitely in this pitcher's head right now. He's worried about him stealing third base. Which, listen, I don't know that it's the best thing to do right now. I mean, you're up by 4 runs. Maybe be aggressive. Try to get to third. But if you have a strikeout here and you get thrown out at third, inning's over. 2-2 count on Vientos now as he takes a pitch low and inside. McNeil on deck with his torpedo bat. Soto's bouncing off second base. Vientos takes a fastball pretty close to the middle of the plate for strike 3. Too much of that from this Mets offense this whole season. They're guessing, they're looking for a specific pitch, and I know that that's kind of the trend in all of baseball. Guys are looking for a specific pitch every at bat, but you know, sometimes you just, with 2 strikes, you gotta see ball, hit ball. You know, look for a fastball and react off of the fastball. Too many fastballs down the middle of the plate that these hitters don't swing at. Now we have McNeil up, lefty on lefty here against Hart. If Hart gets out of this inning, it was pretty successful for him. And the first pitch is low and away for ball 1. 1-0 count to McNeil. Mets lead 5-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. Pitch number 2 to McNeil, and he swings through a fastball up and in. Strike 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. And you would have liked to score some runs in this inning. I'm not trying to be greedy, but 4 runs, a 4-run lead isn't good enough for me right now. Especially when it looks like Tong is coming out of the game. You're going to that bullpen. You don't know what's going to happen in that bullpen. That pitch looked low, but it's called a strike. 1-2 on McNeil. McNeil's not happy about that call. I wouldn't be either. I mean, it might have touched the zone. Too close to take, I guess. Next pitch, McNeil fouls off to the left into the crowd. Still 1-2 on McNeil. Base hit here, make it 6-1. I'd be okay with that for the inning. But you got to try to get a run here. You had runner at second base with nobody out, I believe. Yeah, because Soto hit a leadoff double. McNeil fouls another one straight back. Catcher goes back for a look, but it's in the crowd. Still a 1-2 count here on McNeil. SNY's got a cool shot here. Mendoza in the middle, and then Tong on one side, and Rogers on the other. He's clearly... I don't know, it doesn't look like Tong's done to me. Usually when a pitcher is done, they're on the top step. They've already been congratulated. He's kind of just sitting on the bench. So McNeil fouls another one off. long at bat here by McNeil. 1-2 count. Runners at first and second. 2 outs. And McNeil dribbles one to second base. It's going to be a tough play, but they make it, and McNeil's out at first. So they do not score in that inning where they had a leadoff double by Soto. Would have liked to see more there. Tong, I don't know, he was grabbing his glove. I think he's out. I think he's coming out of the game. Honestly, I'd let him go one more inning, but I understand they probably want him to feel like he had a good game. If he comes out in the sixth and gives up a home run or gives up a walk and a base hit, maybe he feels like he didn't do enough. Maybe taking him out after 5 is the right move. But we'll see. Now you have 4 innings to get out of your bullpen. They are rested. They should have everyone pretty much available. But still, I would have liked to see one more inning out of Tong, especially how he's been rolling the last few innings. What do you think? Do you think they should keep Tong in or have him out? I mean, I don't know. I guess if you look at it like this, if these guys are going to be making playoff starts, they're not going to go 6 innings because you're only really going to go two times through the order in the playoffs. Once you get to the third time, you're going to the bullpen anyway. So maybe it's just preparing for that. I don't know. I would have liked to see him go 6 though. And looks like Rogers is in the game, so Tong is officially out. So he gives you 5 innings. What did he have? Let's see. So Tong goes 5 innings, gives up 4 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run. Really good start for Tong. Not complaining at all. Would have liked to see him go a little bit longer, but I understand. Got Tyler Rogers in the game now. 71 innings pitches here, 1.9 ERA. Obviously, a guy who gives up a lot of contact. And the second pitch looked low, but he got the call. It's 1-1 on Tatis. I see the point of taking Tong out here, and Tatis drives one to center field. Mullins is there to make the catch. 1 out here in the 6th. I understand taking Tong out only because you have the top of the order coming up here, and you don't want him going after those guys for a 3rd time through. You don't want to overexpose him too much there, especially because he's been throwing like mostly fastballs. So 1 out here in the top of the 6th. You got Arise coming up. First pitch pretty much down the middle for a strike. Second pitch is lined to Beatty at third base, who makes the catch on a knee. And there's quickly 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. So Rogers getting contact, but getting outs. So nice job here to get the first 2 outs quickly. And now we have Manny Machado coming to the plate. And this is when you want Machado up at the plate, when there's nobody on base and he can't hurt you. So first pitch is inside for a ball. Would like a nice, quick, easy inning here. Second pitch is grounded to third base slowly. Beatty fields it, throws, and Machado is out at first base. So a 7-pitch inning here for Rogers in the 6th. Nice inning, nice clean inning from Rogers. Shorten the game here a little bit. You only got 3 more innings to get through in your pitching staff with a 4-run lead. Really nice job by Rogers there. And that's what he does. That's when he's at his best. That's what he does. 3 quick, easy contact outs. He's not a big strikeout guy. This is what he does. So really nice inning there, guys. If you're here and you haven't yet, please like the stream. Subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing here. This isn't what I do most of the time. I mostly just make videos about the Mets, a couple times a week, how they're doing, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, subscribe. So we will go now to the bottom of the 6th inning with Beatty, Torrens, and Mullins, the bottom of the order coming up for the Mets. Let's get a couple runs. Let's get a couple runs and feel better. And honestly, getting even 5 runs in this game wasn't something I expected because the Mets don't usually do well in these spots. But it seems like maybe something is changing. They're playing with a little bit more urgency as of late. It hasn't always been the best results, but they've been playing as if they actually care. and I think they're finally realizing that they woke up and realized it's not early. We have to do this right now or we're not going to be in the playoffs. And they're playing like it. And their pitching's been better. I know we had a bad start from Peterson yesterday, but overall the starting pitching has been a lot better. The bullpen, I'm a little bit worried about now with Reed Garrett being out of the game. He was a great middle of the game type of reliever with some playoff experience from last year. I think he's going to be missed. But overall, the bullpen has pitched a little bit better lately, with a couple of exceptions. Beatty, first pitch is a fastball inside. He swings and fouls it back. 0-1 count to start the inning for Brett Beatty here. Yuki Matsui is the new pitcher for the Padres. He's kind of their mop-up guy. I guess they're punting this one like the Mets kind of did yesterday. Here's the pitch to Beatty on an 0-1 count. And it's a strike on the inside part of the plate. 0-2. Here's the 0-2 to Beatty. And he swings and fouls it right off the catcher's leg to stay alive in the at-bat. Fermin was a little hurt on that one. He's stretching out the leg a little bit there. But count remains 0-2. They're giving the catcher a little extra time here. Here's the 0-2 to Brett Beatty. Man, this guy uses all of the pitch clock. And Beatty grounds one to Manny Machado, who throws over to first to throw out Beatty. First out of the inning, 1 out now, bottom of the 6th. And now we have Luis Torrens coming to the plate. I just want another couple runs. Torrens is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out, hitting .224 with a .630 OPS on the season. Not a great year, but he's done better at when he's actually been asked to be a backup. When he's had to start for that long stretch of time, he struggled. He takes the first pitch. It was outside, but it was called a strike. 1-0 on Torrens. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Torrens grounds it to short. Nice easy play. And he's thrown out at first base. 2 down now in the inning. And now Mullins will come up, 9th hitter in this lineup. Just get on base. Give Lindor and Soto another shot. Brooks Raley is warming up. Looks like he'll be pitching the 7th inning for the Mets. I like this. They're trying to shut down this game. They're using their best relievers. They know this is an important game. Every game going forward for the Mets is a playoff game. So they're going to see these guys a lot. I don't think you're going to be seeing Brazaban in this game. Although maybe you will. Mendoza makes some puzzling decisions sometimes. Cedric Mullins, 1 for 2 with a single and a run today. He's been hitting a little bit better lately. I can't, he hasn't been great, but over the last week or so, he's been hitting the ball harder at least. And I know he had a home run. He's stolen some bases. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Mullins. And it's outside. That was close pitch, but he got the call. 2-0. So here's the 2-0 pitch to Mullins. And this guy uses every second of the pitch clock. He doesn't start his windup till there's 1 second. And Mullins takes a strike on the outside part of the plate. And it is a 2-1 count. Just get on base here. Hey, just take a walk if you need to. And here's the 2-1 pitch to Mullins. And he pops one foul. Machado's coming over. And he makes the catch in front of the Padres dugout to end the inning. So after 6 innings, the Mets still lead the Padres 5-1 as Mullins pops out. And it looks like Brooks Raley will be entering the game for the Mets. And then we'll have top of the order coming up in the 7th. So, as the game goes on, am I getting more comfortable with a 4-run lead? Sure. But still would like to score some more runs. I mean, with the bottom of the order coming up there, was I expecting a ton? No. But, it would have been nice to score another run or two. And the Mets have had their chances, and they haven't, without that 3-run homer from Nimmo, this is a completely different feeling game right now. Let's say they only scored 1 run in that inning, and you have a 2-run lead now instead of a 4-run lead. You're probably not feeling that great. So, Nimmo so far, player of the game. Maybe Tong. But I like that even with a 4-run lead, they're still going to their best relievers. Because if you bring in Stanek or who's been pitching a little bit better lately? If you bring in one of your lower-end guys, a Brazaban or a Stanek or something like that, they can let the game get away. So we will have Brooks Raley coming in to face Merrill in the top of the 7th inning. Brooks Raley has been awesome since coming back. I'm so happy the Mets brought him back. Put up a 0 here. And I'll be feeling pretty good. First pitch from Raley is a strike right down the middle. 0-1 count to Merrill. They're just coming after these hitters. These Padres pitchers are just coming right at them. Second pitch, also a swinging strike, and it's an 0-2 count. You see Tong all day. He was just challenging hitters. He was throwing fastballs, throwing down the middle of the plate. Guys are swinging through it. And I think that's what the Mets pitching hasn't done enough of this year. They've been nibbling and walking guys. Get ahead of guys, and then you can make them chase. Raley throws a ball outside, way outside, and there's a 1-2 count. Next pitch is fouled off, still 1-2 from Raley to Merrill here. And Merrill's a good hitter. He's a dangerous hitter. Having a bit of a down year, but overall a good major league player, young guy. The 1-2 pitch from Raley is coming right now. And it's a pop-up to left field. Nimmo's chasing, coming in, and he makes the catch right on the line up against the fence for the first out. So, 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Mets still lead 5-1. All right, we got Laureano at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. He looked lost against Tong. And the first pitch to him from Raley. Got a generous call. Look, it was outside, but he did get the strike. 0-1 count from Raley to Laureano. Second pitch is fouled, hit sharply, fouled down the left side. And it's 0-2 now. Oh, 2 pitch from Raley is outside. 1-2 now. Raley's working quick. I like that. The 1-2 pitch is way inside. It is now 2-2 from Raley to Laureano. Don't nibble, just go after. You got a 4-run lead, nobody on base. But Raley kind of has to nibble because he doesn't have high-end stuff. He just has to pitch. Laureano fouls one back. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Then it's a 2-2 count. Top of the 7th. Then next pitch is fouled off. It remains 2-2. So Laureano is fighting Raley here. He's giving him making him work. He did not have these type of at-bats against Tong. And Laureano grounds one to Lindor at shortstop, who throws on to Pete, and that is out number 2. 2 outs now, top of the 7th. So after a nice at-bat by Laureano, he grounded out to Lindor at shortstop. And they're just, we had a Padres fan in here earlier. I think he said he had to go, but he was saying that this is kind of how the Padres have been. It reminded me a lot of the Mets. Of once they're behind, they kind of stay behind. They don't really come back. And this is what we normally see from the Mets. We see bad at bats or just once you get down, you feel like there's no way of coming back. One count now from Raley to Sheets. And he flies one out to left field. Nimmo goes back, and he catches it a couple steps into the warning track for out number 3. So the Mets still lead 5-1 in the middle of the 7th here. 7th inning stretch. And, another good inning out of the Mets bullpen. That is 2 nice innings today out of the Mets bullpen. They've gotten great pitching today. And they've done just enough hitting. I'll be right back. All right. So now we go to the bottom of the seventh. Lindor will be leading off for the Mets. Lindor's 1 for 3 with a run today. And this is a good chance to maybe, with the top of your lineup coming up here, put another couple runs on the board. And make this a nice, comfortable ending. They're showing Nimmo's 3-run home run from earlier. That was really what changed this game. It was a 2-1 game at that point. So now Lindor starts off here the bottom of the seventh. Let's get a hit here, Lindor. Let's just get on base with Soto and Pete. Sorry, motorcycle going by my house. With Soto and Pete hot behind him, Lindor's job right now is just to make sure he gets on base no matter how. And he started off 2-0 now. Does Lindor. Just get on base. Let the big guys behind you drive you in. To Lindor, and it's in the dirt, so he's got a 3-0 count now. Let's get a couple runs in this inning. Come on. We need a couple runs. It looks like Gregory Soto is up in the bullpen right now. I mean, I guess, who else are you going to use? And that pitch is inside for ball 4, and Lindor takes a 4-pitch walk to start the inning. With your big bats coming up, need a run or two here. Ron Marinaccio is the pitcher for the Padres right now. And the first pitch is outside for ball 1. So this guy's come in and thrown 5 consecutive balls to start the inning. That one was close, but it was still outside. You got Pete looming on deck. Home runs in 4 straight games, including today. And the second pitch is inside, and he has thrown 6 consecutive balls. And Soto is not going to swing at a ball when a pitcher's on the ropes like this. So the catcher for Mean goes out to talk to him, settle him down a little bit here. Look for first pitch fastball, maybe. Soto ahead 2-0 in the count. You like your chances with that. He's usually behind 0-2 and then comes back and makes it a 3-2 count. That one is also way inside on a fastball. It's 3-0 now on Soto. After he walked Lindor on 4 pitches in the first for the first batter, he's now 3-0 on Soto with Pete looming on deck. Soto, I bet, will take a pitch here, and he does, and it's a fastball in the outside corner, 3-1. I mean, if you're Soto, he probably takes another pitch here unless it's exactly what he wants. He doesn't mind it being 3-2. He doesn't mind having 2 strikes on him. And it was where he wants it, and he hits a base hit to right field. Lindor held up at second and then went on to third. So now the Mets have runners at first and third. Nobody out. Pete Alonso coming to the plate. Got to at least get 1 run now. You got a runner at third with less than 2 outs. You have to at least pick up 1 run. Lindor, yeah, he was running. He ran past second. He kind of held up for a second to see. Oh, he was checking to see if Tatis was going to come up throwing, and he wasn't. Alonso fouls off the first pitch. Alonso's having a great year. 37 home runs, 120 RBIs, 871 OPS. Alonso's having one of his better years. Maybe the home runs aren't, obviously he didn't hit 50 like he did in his rookie year, but one of his best overall statistical years. And it works out for him because he's going to be a free agent. He's going to make a lot of money. Hopefully from the Mets, but we'll see. I expect it to be kind of a slow off season for the Mets. I think they'll bring pieces in, but it's not going to be like, Juan Soto type off season. Pete Alonso swings and fouls off another pitch. It is now 0-2 on Pete. So I think I said Soto. You have Soto on first base, Lindor on third. Nobody out. Pete Alonso at the plate. And here's the 0-2 pitch. And it's outside. Pete holds his swing. They throw down to first, and Soto gets back in time. So it's 1-2 now. They tried to catch Soto napping there off first base. Maybe his lead was a little too big. We haven't seen Soto swipe a bag in a while. I mean, he's been hitting home runs, so he hasn't really been on first base much. The 1-2 pitch to Pete. It is hit deep and foul to left field. Looked like it was scalded there. They didn't really show the replay, but it was hit hard, but foul to the left. Here's another 1-2 pitch to Pete. They're making this pitcher work. He's at 13 pitches, does not have an out yet. And he fouls that one back, so it's still going to be 1-2 on Pete Alonso. Soto was trying to steal there. He will now head back to first base. And I like that Soto's been, David Stearns was talking a couple weeks ago on a podcast. I forget where I saw it. And he said he'd never, the thing that he loves about Juan Soto is that and he's not comfortable just being who he is. He wants to get better. And he was able to do that with stolen bases this year. David Stern said, I never expected Juan Soto to steal 30 bases, and he has. There was another ball there to Pete Alonso. It's 2-2 now. And he fouls another one off. Yeah, this pitcher has nothing to get these guys out right now. That could change in a second, but right now, he's not fooling these hitters at all. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Alonso. He throws over to first, keeps Soto close once again. And the Mets have been so good at stealing bases, and a lot of it has to do with just their coaching. And I think Soto's been the number one benefactor of that. Pete Alonso, he flies one out to right field. It's going to be deep enough to score the run. Yep, Lindor comes home. It is now 6-1 Mets. Soto remains at first base. I don't know what Alonso was saying. He hit it up in the air, and I don't know what happened there. Oh, he was yelling for Soto to get back because he hit it in the air. Oh, Soto was all the way at second base. He slid into second base before he realized that. Yeah, Alonso was yelling at Soto to get back. That was strange. He hit that ball in the air and just immediately started yelling. Nimmo's up now, fouls the first pitch off to the left. Nimmo with the big hit in today's game, the 3-run home run to give the Mets a 5-1 lead. It was a slim 2-1 margin at that point. Soto takes off to second, and he steals the base. And it was almost like a pitch out. The catcher was standing before the pitch even got to him. So Soto steals another base. I don't know what number that is for him. does it say here? Yeah, that's his 33rd stolen base. So he's got 41 home runs and 33 stolen bases. If you would have told me before the season started that Juan Soto was going to have 33 stolen bases this year, I don't think anyone would have believed you. So Nimmo's got a 1-2 count here, and he strikes out on a low fastball. It was right there. It was in the zone. It was close, but it was in the zone. And now there's a runner at second with 2 outs. I mean, the Mets got a run. They got an insurance run. They're up by 5 now. But you would have liked to see a little bit more from this inning. They still might. You got a runner at second. And Vientos coming up. Vientos 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts today. Vientos takes the first pitch. That was pretty much right where Nimmo just got struck out on, and it's 1-0 on Vientos. The 1-0 to Vientos, and he fouls one off to the right. They come over for, just made it into the dugout. O'Hearn and Alonso have a little laugh together as O'Hearn runs into Alonso. Ball was pretty much just out of his reach there. Oh. Alonso had his arm up. He was trying to block the sun. He had no chance to catch it anyway. Vientos fouls one back. Weakly. And is 1-2 on Vientos now. I'd like to get one more run here. 6-run lead. 5-6, what does it matter? But yeah, it matters when you're the Mets. And how bad they've been holding leads this year. But I was live for the game when they lost to the Nationals, when they had like a 7-run lead in the 6th inning and they ended up losing the game. That was a miserable one. So, you never really feel comfortable. Especially with an offense like San Diego, who maybe hasn't been so great this year. They can be. They have the talent and the pieces. Count on Vientos is 2-2. And he strikes out on a pitch inside. It was close, but it was an inside pitch. He strikes out, 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and that ends the inning. Mets still lead 6-1, or they now lead 6-1 over the Padres. Going into the 8th, Soto will be coming in to pitch in the 8th inning to face O'Hearn, Cronenworth, and Fermin, 2 lefties. We know Soto does well against the lefties, so hopefully you can get at least 2 quick outs. And then if you can get this bottom of the order out here, you're feeling good about yourself, because the top of the order will come up in the 9th, most likely to face Edwin Diaz. Maybe not, because it is a 5-run lead now. Maybe you don't use Diaz. But if it was me, I'd use Diaz in this spot. Just like, because, as I said before, every game going forward now for the Mets is a playoff game. So even with a 5-run lead, I still think you bring in Diaz for the 9th. And that's assuming that you even get out of this inning still up 5. Anyone who hasn't yet, if you can, please just like the stream here. And if you like my content, follow me. Subscribe. It's a day game, so there's not as many people around, but if you do like it, it might push it out to some more people. So we have, oh, and they're going to pinch hit. So it looks like Jose Iglesias is going to be the pinch hitter here against Soto, trying to get the right-hander in against the lefty. First pitch is a ball, so it is 1-0 to start this this 8th inning. Iglesias has not had a good year. I know Mets fans were clamoring to get him as he takes a strike. It's 1-1. I know Mets fans were clamoring to get him in the offseason, bring him back and all that, and I might have even been one of them, and he probably was a glue guy. He probably helped them. I think not having a guy like him might hurt this team. They don't have that same level of energy as he fouls off a pitch. It's now 1-2. But he's been bad. He's not replicated his stats from last year. He got like a 550 OPS. I mean, the guy's just had a bad year. And we expected that. This is a guy hasn't had a great career. He's had a couple good seasons, but he's a great defender. He's not much of a hitter. And last year he just had kind of a special year. As he pops one up to second base, Jeff McNeil goes in the outfield, makes the catch, and that is out number 1 in the inning. So Soto gets the first out of the inning, even with the pinch hitter. And now Cronenworth will come to the plate. Here's the first pitch from Soto to Cronenworth. It is a strike taken sweeper on the inside part of the plate. 0-1 on Cronenworth. And he hits one off of Soto's leg. Beatty fields it but has no play. And that'll go as a base hit for Cronenworth. Nothing you can really do there. Went off his foot. He tried to kind of stop it. Even if he lets it go through, it's probably a ground out, but tries to stop it with his foot. I don't even know if he tried to stop it. I think it just went off his foot. Oh, I guess he stuck out his glove. If he doesn't, it's probably an easy ground ball to Lindor. I guess there's some concern for Soto here. The trainer is out looking at him. Mendoza is coming out. It looks like it went off the back of his foot there. He took like a funny step after. He's fine. He's going to stay in the game. Lindor's out there talking to him. He's all right. Nice double play here. Would do the trick. We haven't seen any of those yet today. We have Fermin up at the plate. He's 0 for 2 so far, the catcher for the Padres, and he hits the first pitch to center field. Mullins gets under it, makes the catch, and that is out number 2. Runner stays at first base. So we got 2 outs now in the inning. This is a big inning. If you're able to shut him down here, you feel pretty good. You got Tatis Jr. coming to the plate. Important out here. He's a guy who could easily make this a game right now. And on the first pitch, another one off of Soto, and it trickles into the outfield, and the runner moves to third base. So it's a base hit, another one right off of Soto, trickles out into the outfield and the second base side. And the runner moves to third. Oh, it wasn't off of him. He reached behind him with the glove and tried to field it, and it went off of his glove. Well, bad luck there. At that point, I mean, instead of trying to make a behind, you can't fault the guy for trying to make a play. And he almost made it. It went right off his glove. And now you got Luis Ariz. This is what you worry about. You don't want this to snowball. You need an out right here. You need to get Ariz out, because this is the kind of thing that can snowball, and then you have to scramble to go to one of your big bullpen pieces. And that one almost hits Arise. He is able to get out of the way, and it's 1-0. That was a. This is what you worry about, especially with Soto. He starts to fall behind, and he feels the pressure, and now he's under pressure, and I don't really trust him in a big spot. And right now, with a 5-run lead, a home run right now makes it a 2-run lead. So you need to. I mean, Arise isn't really the guy you expect to hit a home run, but still. Now he throws a fastball right on the outside corner, 1-1. I hate to be negative. I'm not trying to be negative here. And they got Edwin Diaz warming up in the bullpen. The Mets are treating this like it is a playoff game. If the runner gets on, if Arise gets on here, I bet you'll see Edwin Diaz to face Manny Machado. He will come in for a 4-out save. But hopefully that does not happen. Let's get Soto to get the out here. Get the third out. Here's the 2-1. It's another ground ball. This one Soto will get to. He will throw Arise out at first base, and the Mets escape the inning without giving up a run. They keep a 6-1 lead, and that was a huge, huge out because now you face Manny Machado in the next inning without really any chance to hurt you. Even if he hits a home run, okay, it's 6-2. No big deal. So, really big out there by Soto. This Mets bullpen is just looking better. Maybe it's just that the Padres aren't playing well. I don't know. But, you know, it's still, we haven't seen this out of the Mets pitching staff in a long time. Happy to see it. Now we go to the bottom of the 8th. We'll have McNeil, Beatty, and Torrens coming up. Any runs here will be helpful. You just feel better the more runs they score. If they don't score any more runs, I think we're going to be seeing Edwin Diaz in this game. If they put up another run or two, you'll probably see Helsley or Brazaban even. I know he was just called up today. The Mets made some moves today, roster moves today. Sean Manaea went on the paternity list. That's not a big deal. I'm sure he'll be back before his next start. And Reed Garrett was placed back on the injured list with a sprained elbow, I believe. And Dom Hamill was designated for assignment. So they brought up Brazaban and they brought up Suero to the Major League Club. But yeah, overall, like, when's the last time the pitching staff has been better as of late. And we still don't feel comfortable with a 5-run lead with 3 more outs to get because you just never do with this pitching staff since June. But they've looked different lately. They've looked a lot better. Now we have Rodriguez coming in for the Padres. He's pitched 3 games this season. He's got a 2.7 ERA. He's only pitched 3 innings. 3 strikeouts, a walk, 2 hits, no home runs. No, not a guy they've used very much. Can't say I know too much about him. We'll find out here in a second what he throws. But he'll face Jeff McNeil to start. McNeil takes the first pitch low and in for a ball. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-0 count. He swings at the outside pitch for strike number 1. It is 1-1 now on McNeil. Swung at a ball there. 1-1 count. And McNeil fouls one off to the left side. Maybe, no, it's not going to stay in play. It's going into the seats. Well, hit the net. Bounce back into play. McNeil thought it might have been fair, but the outfielder didn't move towards it. So yeah, that's what it is right now. They got Brazaban warming up and Diaz warming up. I would assume if there's no runs scored, Diaz will come in. if they do score more runs, Brazaban will probably come in, or they're gonna keep Diaz warm and have Brazaban start the inning, and if they need Diaz, he'll be ready to go. Another foul ball by McNeil that went just foul, almost went into the seats there. So 1-2 on McNeil. He's heading back to the plate. He thought that was going to be fair, so he was running. McNeil steps back to the plate. 1-2 count on McNeil. Bottom of the 8th, Mets up 6-1. Trying to hold on to this lead. McNeil flies one to center field. Merrill moves over a few steps, makes the catch, and that is out number 1. And I gotta say, I like this. This was a nicely managed game so far by Mendoza. I've had some issues with some of his bullpen usage in the past, but it seems like he finally gets it. And right now, everything is, you have to win every game. And he's used his best relievers in this game, and it's worked out so far. They've been able to shut down the Padres. They've only scored 1 run, and that was off of Tong. And Tong pitched great. First pitch to Beatty, some kind of changeup or something down the middle of the plate, 87 miles an hour, and he swings through it. So 0-1 count to Beatty. And he swings through a sweeper or something on the outside corner, 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Beatty, and it's in the dirt. Beatty lays off. It's 1-2. How about Beatty just hit one out right here? Make it a little bit easier. It's upstairs, 2-2. This guy throws hard, but it seems like maybe he's a little wild. Beatty fouls one off to the left. It'll reach the seats. Still 2-2 count. Beatty's 0 for 3 today. But if you look at his, I think over the last 34 games, Brett Beatty's hitting like 320 or 330. He's had a pretty good season. I think he's up to his batting average is like 270 now. And he strikes out as I say that. Sometimes you just get beat. He was way early on that. So 2 outs now here in the bottom of the 8th. Sorry, it's very loud here all of a sudden. 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. And Luis Torrens will bat. I feel like the Mets are done scoring for the day. This is what they do. They have big innings, and then they just kind of stop. So Torrens is up 0 for 3 with a strikeout, 2 groundouts today. I mean, think of how much we've had a problem with Torrens being like an everyday player since he's had to step in for Alvarez so much this year with Alvarez's injuries. The funny thing is, we all wanted Iglesias back, and his numbers are way worse than Torrens. I know he's a great defender, but he's been really bad. As Torrens weakly grounds one to Machado at third, Machado throws over to first to get the out, and we go to the 9th inning. Mets up 6-1. I would think it's, I don't know. I think it's going to be Brazaban here, and then if he gets into any trouble, you're going to see Diaz. It seemed like Brazaban was really warming up, and I can't hate on the decision. It is a 5-run lead. Even if he comes in and walks a guy and gives up a hit, you could bring in Diaz, and even if he gives up a home run, you still have a 2-run lead. So I can't hate on this decision, but it's been a few days since Diaz has worked. I wouldn't mind seeing him in this game just to close it out. And also, Diaz hasn't been super sharp lately, so I would maybe get him to work. He's a guy who likes to work a lot. I wouldn't mind seeing Diaz in this game, but I think it's going to be Brazoban, just from the way that they were warming up. Diaz has kind of stopped throwing, and Brazoban was throwing hard, so we'll see. And Brazoban's so weird. Like, one day he can look completely unhittable, and then for 2 weeks he can't get anyone out. He's just so inconsistent. Sometimes he loses the strike zone, sometimes he's just giving up hits. You never know what you're going to get with Brazoban. Oh, it's Diaz. Okay, they brought in Diaz. That works. I like that move. Honestly, I like it. Tong pitched well today, 5 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 8 strikeouts, 1 earned run on 82 pitches. And I know people are going to say, why didn't he pitch 6? And I do agree to some extent. They're trying not to overexpose these guys. They did the same thing with McLean. They have a number in their mind, like Mendoza said after McLean's start. They have a pitch count number in mind, and if it's a difference between 3, 4, 5 pitches, it's not worth putting them out there for a whole nother clean inning. If it's to finish an inning, sure, but not to pitch a whole nother inning. So if he was only going to get 85 to 90 pitches, then it's not worth bringing him back out for the 6th. Just let him go after 5 with a feeling good about his day. Diaz comes in. First pitch is inside for a ball at 97 miles an hour. And I like this. Bring in Diaz. Try to shut down the game. Second pitch is fouled off by Machado. And you like pitching to Machado here with the bases empty. Especially after he hit the grand slam the other night. You know what he does with guys on. You know what he does in pressure. And that pitch almost hits Machado. It's way inside at 98 miles an hour. And it is a 2-1 count now. Sometimes Diaz does this. Sometimes he comes in and he can't figure it out. Or he's a little wild to start, and then he does figure it out. And sometimes it kind of carries over, and he just doesn't have a good day. So we'll see what day this is. That one's up high, 3-1. Padres suck on the road. Most teams do. A lot of the best teams are bad on the road. Even if you look at like the Phillies, I think the Phillies are like 25 or 30 games better. They're like 500 at home, and they're like 25 games over 500 or 20. They're 500 on the road and like 25 games over at home. The Mets are the classic example. They're like 15 games under 500 on the road. And Diaz strikes out Machado on the slider away. So he was able to come back in that at bat after throwing some wild pitches and get the first out. The first big out against Manny Machado. Some guy's very angry behind the plate, screaming. I don't know if he's angry or excited. He's like eating the net. 1-0 count now on Merrill as Diaz throws one high and away. Diaz needs to settle down a little bit here, and he blows one by Merrill. 1-1. Fastball pretty much right down the middle. And the Mets have been doing that all day. They've just been challenging these Padres hitters. I don't think they have a walk today. Another one, fastball. Challenged him. Do the Mets even have a walk? No, the Mets pitching has not walked a single batter today. That's a rarity. And he blows away Merrill on another fastball for the second out. Diaz has control of that fastball right now. And the Padres are down to their final out. And this looks like the Diaz that just blows people away, which is a good sign because he hasn't looked like this. And that's really rare for the Mets not to walk a batter. I think they lead the world in walks, so. First pitch to Laureano is inside, ball 1-0. Second pitch is also inside. Laureano swings and fouls it back. It was a slider inside. Didn't really break, but he got it in enough. Next pitch is it was a strike, but the umpire didn't call it a strike. It was right there. That was an egregious call. All right, 2-1 now. Should be 1-2. And there's a fastball down the middle that Laureano fouls back, or fouls off. Fans are standing at Citi Field, waiting for this strikeout. Hoping for a strikeout, or at least an out. Here's Diaz's pitch, and it's popped up. Third base, Beatty settles under it, and the ball game's over. Mets get the win, 6-1 over the Padres, take the series, keep themselves alive and ahead in this playoff, in this wild card race. Awesome win for the Mets here. It was a kind of a low stress win. You don't see that very often, especially against a team like the Padres. The Mets do not beat them normally. Honestly, player of the game is either, it's got to be Jonah Tong, right? Bouncing back after his last start, after he only gets 2 outs recorded in a start. He's able to go 5 innings, strikes out 8, doesn't walk anyone, gives up 1 run. Honestly, great start. One that puts Jonah Tong possibly in a playoff start position, and really great job by him. Nimmo had the big hit of the game, the 3-run home run, and let's hope the Mets can keep rolling. This was a big series win. Was hoping for a sweep, didn't happen, but they fought in that second game. And the Mets just look like a different team right now. They look like they're playing with urgency. Looks like they're playing to try to make some noise and get into the playoffs. They're taking it seriously now. Really happy to see. If you're still here, you like this kind of content, like I said before, what I mostly do is make videos about the Mets. I go live very little, but I do go live from time to time. But if you like it, please, on your way out, subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and thanks for watching and hanging out. And until next time, let's go Mets.